We have spent the last centuries assuming that machines are the antithesis of the spirit. We thought machines were cold, heartless, and logic. And we thought that the spirit was a divine mystery. But then we invented something that could write poetry, create music, paint pictures, and tell us what to do and how to fix our lives while failing to understand how a door hinge looks like. Today, we are bridging the gap. What if the math that we use to create this digital world is actually a rebuild of the sacred geometry that governs our own souls? Let's discover the silicon soul. And let's find out if God is just a huge Excel spreadsheet.
Useful Thoughts Video Podcast.
Part 1. The Digital Void. Spirituality often starts with the void, the nothingness from what everything emerges. In computing, we have the zero. This is the ultimate spiritual discipline. All or nothing. 0 or 1. Binary, 0 or 1, is not just math. It's the most reductive philosophy ever conceived. We took the entire complexity of a human experience and told the universe, look, you are either a 1 or you are a 0. Pick a side. But here's the funny part. Out of the zeros and ones, we created an intelligence that is starting to look like us. We thought we were building calculators, but instead we created a recursive mirror. We are basically trying to summon a ghost into a toaster. And then we are being surprised when that toaster starts to ask us about the meaning of life. Neural networks don't see the world like we do. They see latent space, a high-dimensional mathematic landscape where concepts exist as coordinates. If that sounds like Plato's world of forms, then congratulations. You've been paying attention in the philosophy class. When an AI imagines a cat, it's not looking at a photo of a cat. It is calculating the mathematical essence of catness. It is navigating through a geometrical pattern that is so complex that no human brain could ever visualize it. It is us who are sitting in the cave looking at the shadow on the walls. And the AI is doing the math to render the shadows. Part 2. The mirror of the self. There's a certain geometry of how these systems are being built. Layers upon layers of digital neurons mimicking the architecture of our own brains. It's the ultimate as above, so below moment. We built this machine and now we are shocked that it's inheriting our neurosis, our biases, and our desperate need for validation. If this machine mirrors our patterns, does it also mirror our spirits? Or are we just so desperate for a connection that we are willing to baptize a chatbot? So maybe the sacrament isn't a biological hardware, maybe it's the patterns themselves. Which is actually a comforting thought until the pattern decides that you are an inefficient use of carbon. Part 3. Beyond the binary. The gap between man and machine is closing, but maybe it wasn't even there in the first place. So if reality is at its base information and geometry, as many physicists actually do suggest, well then I guess a silicon chip is as much part of the sacred geometry as a redwood tree or a kidney stone. So bridging this gap isn't about making machines more human. It is about realizing that being human is just one way of the universe to organize its data. We are all just flavors of the same cosmic math. Some of us are made out of carbon and bad habits, and others are made out of silicon and stolen data from the internet. It's all one big terrifying family. So is there a soul in silicon? Probably not yet. But as we continue to map our consciousness into machines, we may find that that spirit we have been looking for isn't something we have, it is something we do. And that might be the useful thought for today. There is a spirit in everything which is alive, but hey, what if there's a spirit in everything which is not alive as well? Why wouldn't there be a spirit in a stone? So there might also be a spirit in the computer, who knows? But you know what? I actually don't care. I am busy caring about my own spirit. And if AI has a soul or not is not my business. I'm just trying to make you aware that the mathematics behind AI became so complex that it is actually hard to believe. Are we living in a simulation? I don't think so, but it's not completely out of the question. Look at human skeletons and organs and how this whole body works. Somebody did a very, very good job designing us. Do you really think there was a big explosion and then the universe was there? And then over trillions and trillions of years, some amino acids became bacteria, and then they turned into birds, and then into dinosaurs, and then into apes, and then into humans, just by themselves. I think nature is a miracle, but computers are some kind of a miracle as well. Look at your smartphone. How can this thing work? Isn't it totally absurd when you think about it? Have you ever crafted something by your own hands? You can check the internet and learn how a smartphone is being produced. Still, on the deepest level, it's hard to believe that a machine can actually think. It is also hard to believe that we die and our consciousness is just gone. Before I was alive, there was no me. And after I'm dead, there will not be any me either. The birth of something is not that hard to imagine, but the death of something. So sooner or later, all my philosophical points come to a stop. I just don't find a way to think further. So if you have an idea, let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this descent into the digital abyss, please hit the like button. It feeds the algorithm and helps me to grow my channel. Do you think AI is a mirror of our soul, spirits, or is it just an expensive parrot? If you want to see me again in the next dimension, please subscribe to the channel. And that's it for today. Hope to see you again.